sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Too strong. It's going to be a rebound there by Brown. Brown gets it in. Bucket there by Alter.
Crossover for Jackson. Salas steals the rebound and finds a cutting Mitchell at the rim.
Great move.
It's almost even in the foul territory, and Cueva looking to take advantage. Said Yates draws the foul, and one opportunity is set, gives the muscles down.
And it's 11-4, 38. Another turnover by Rio Grande. Montoya off the glass, up and in, back-to-back layups for the Demons.
Oh, it's stolen away again by Valdez. Valdez is going to bring it out.
Valdez has to have around 3 or 4 steals. 3 by Mays.
Bingo! That one rattles in.
The man is on a mission. And while everyone is trying to tell you, simmer down, it's not that big of a deal. Sergio Garcia telling the media, stop asking about it. It matters. Maybe it's not as fiery as you thought it was going to be. But if Brooks Koepka keeps up this pace, if Brooks Koepka wins the Masters, he's going to let you know a LIV golfer just won the tournament. And Brooks Koepka is leading the Masters. You're like, wait a second, I just woke up. There are 3 players 7 under. Well, guess what? Homeboy's 8 under. Birdied the first hole out. Golfers going off a half hour earlier today at the Masters. The weather coming in, it's going to affect the next couple days. So if you did not go low on Thursday, you are in trouble. But you best believe the man that won 4 majors from 2017 to 2019, 2 U.S. Open championships, is a threat. He's dangerous, and he's leading the Masters, and what a first round it was. What it do, everyone? Welcome into the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. Good morning to you, JJ Buck, Amory, and Chris Perez. Yes, Chris Perez. You're like, wait a second, do I know that name? Yes, you do. Former Lobo. Been coaching, teaching, has been all around New Mexico since he stepped off campus in 2014 at UNM. Chris, what's up, man? Good morning. How you doing?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Yeah, thanks for having me on. And I know I reached out to you a few weeks ago, just trying to get in the media realm. I was calling some basketball games, the state tournament too. So just kind of me. I love talking sports. I love getting up early. So sign me up.
One of the few that loves
You're
getting up
perfect
early.
for the opening drive. Everyone's like, I don't know how you guys get up so early.
In the morning, everyone who does it, everyone that's driving to work right now,
Yeah.
you know how it is.
You know how.
It stays the same. You can do it for 50 years, and it's still the same feeling when you get out of bed.
Well, at least the weather's getting better too. That's kind of tough
Yeah.
too, to kind of get up early in the
Ooh,
morning.
we might enjoy some great weekend around here golfing, but it's going to be interesting at the Masters. And so yesterday's storyline, it was Brooks Koepka, Victor Hovland, John Rahm.
Mm-hmm.
They go 7 under. And to see Brooks Koepka out, one of the first players on the course, he's got a huge advantage because that's all anyone was talking about yesterday was the weather. They were asking all the players after the round, are you thinking about the weather? Is it in your head? They're like, no. I was just trying to go as low as possible today and then deal with what's in front of me. And this could be a game changer because if it does get as bad as they're talking about, 70% chance of rain today, 100% chance of rain tomorrow at Augusta. At that point in time, it's pretty much survive, like hold on to your spot. And if you can get out there early, and it looks like it's going to be interesting watching this pack, because Gary Woodland, Jason Day, Cameron Young are also 5 under. Like if these guys get out there because they have some early tee times and pull themselves away, that could shrink the field we see this weekend for true winners in this. And going from double bogey to tied for the lead, those 3 guys at the top yesterday, I'm talking about John Rahm, who I know when he had that double bogey, everyone was like, uh-oh.
Yeah. And, you know, the crazy thing about golf, too, is, like, you know, we talked about this, like, if you tee off in the morning versus teeing off in the afternoon, you're still judged based on that score. Like, there's no handicap or anything like that. I mean, if you're playing basketball and the floor is slippery, it's slippery for both teams, right? You know, saying whatever conditions you're in, you're playing football, the opponents, you guys are playing each other at the same time, you know, but with golf, it's so tricky, the conditions, all that. So, but this is why this is the Masters, you know, they're the pros. So I think, you know, we're going to definitely see. But yeah, with Koepka already birdieing out that first hole this morning, you know, he just won the last Live tournament too. So he definitely has something to prove. And yeah, you know, they're kind of gentlemen about it. They're kind of talking like, you know, yeah, it's not really too much of a big deal. In their minds, it is just, it's competitive spirit. You can't fault them for wanting to compete like that.
And we're discussing, you know, what is kind of similar to this. And I know people have thrown out kind of the pro wrestling sense of, you know, guys, you know, kind of their characters trying to play it up. And I was thinking, you know, Champions League. Yes, I'm going to make a soccer reference for golf in this, because you have players playing at the highest level in their pro leagues in soccer. And then they have a tournament where the best of the best play each other.
Right.
That's exactly what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
In the major tournament, it's the Masters. It's the best of the best playing at the highest level. And I think that's where you're going to get the intrigue. I think, you know, last year it became fiery and feisty because Liv was trying to poach all these golfers. And now that they've made their decision, we've kind of see it play out. PGA Tour guys doing their thing, Liv playing their thing. That's simmered down. But there, to your point, Chris, the competitive aspect of it, Brooks Koepka touched on it after winning in Orlando.
Right.
No one knew he won in Orlando. But, you know, after the fact, he said, I'm looking forward to getting on the course again with Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler, having that competition. So I think that's where we're going to see it play out, where it's not this like fiery rivalry where it's like guys talking trash, but Koepka, these Liv guys, they have something to prove, because it was the whole, the Liv Tour, it's easy, there's no cuts.
Yeah.
What's the competition going to be like? Koepka is going to let you know that if he goes on to win this thing and he's in a great position, like he's going to be like, yeah, guys, we still got it.
Yeah, and that's what I think it is. I mean, mostly it was a business decision. You know, even some of the golfers say, guys, straight up, we did it for the money. You know, there's more money, less, you know, more family time. But when it comes to the competitive spirit, that is when we're going to see in these major tournaments, because now they come together. So I think it's good for golf to kind of see kind of like this kind of aspect, the dynamic, because again, with Liv coming in, you know, the PGA has done some things too to help keep their golfers too, to kind of get the money up and, you know, with the tournament, stuff like that, with making cuts. And so I think, yeah, I think but the big thing I think too is the weather right now. I mean, that's always got to be up in the air. So we'll definitely see how this plays out.
And the thing we'll be watching today, can Tiger Woods make it 23 straight cuts at the Masters? A missed opportunity yesterday for Tiger Woods when everyone was going low. He finishes 2 over par. Right now, the cut line is +1, and that might move if these guys put up some early scores. So it's top 50.
He ended strong, though.
Yeah, he
I was
finished
really
strong.
worried about him, but he finished strong. And I think golf fan and sports fan, we're all dreaming to see Tiger play on the weekend. And that's my biggest concern with the weather, is seeing Tiger play on the weekend.
And here's the thing with Tiger Woods.
I mean, it's like a Gatorade commercial. Imagine Tiger Woods just playing in the rain on Saturday.
This is the harsh reality of it. Everyone says Tiger wouldn't be playing if he doesn't think he can win. Of course, he thinks he can win, but his body might not let him win. And that's the challenge. You see him hit a shot, Like that awkward lie he had early where he had 1 foot in the bunker,
Yeah.
1 foot on the fairway, hits it, starts jumping around. Like there's just only so much a human body can take. Mentally, I know Tiger Woods is there.
Right.
But physically, and you brought it up, Chris, we were getting ready for the show. You're like, does Tiger even want to play the weekend at this point in time?
His body does. I know his mind does, but his body doesn't. So it is, even watching him, I think it is kind of tough. A guy that's watched him, since I've been loving golf for a long time, and seeing him play, and now just kind of even with this swing, and just kind of seeing all that stuff go on with him. I really do hope he kind of just finishes strong. I think that's what we want to see. We just want to get him get through the weekend, put on the Tiger red. But yeah, again, his body's kind of taking a toll, but I think hopefully, this is kind of his last run. I think he's done, he's done a great thing for the game of golf. He's trying to hold on, but again, his body won't. I mean, same thing when I remember, growing up a Kobe fan and seeing him, his Achilles going, like his body was like mentally he was there. The competitiveness is still there. So I think it's the same with Tiger Woods right now.
I think for sure he wants to make it 23 straight cuts.
Yeah.
Like, that's on his mind just
Yeah.
to keep that stretch alive, because we didn't make the cut. Well, we didn't play in the tournament.
Yeah.
But when Tiger Woods is in the Masters, he's playing on the weekend, and that is going to fuel him. But it's going to be a challenge today if that weather starts to roll in, and then we see those guys atop the leaderboard pull away. Brooks Koepka get 8 under par. He's 1 under through 3. Hovland and Rahm, they'll go off in a few hours. Gary Woodland already dropped a birdie on him, so now he's in that group with Jason Day, Cameron Young at 5 under. And we got ourselves a race atop the leaderboard at the Masters. We'll be talking about the second round all morning, giving you those updates, keeping an eye on some of the big names, like someone like Phil Mickelson, who's 2 under par. Speaking of live golfers,
A lefty.
and that's what Augusta can do.
Yeah.
It's a course that's challenging, but if you've played it enough,
Yeah.
you're going to be okay.
Well, even in weather conditions too, I think the golf IQ, quote unquote, is going to really come into play.
505-246-0610 as the 377 Brewery hotline, and also Sports Animal text line this morning. We got a great guest coming up, 8:45. Clint Hurdle, who's becoming a great friend of the Sports Animal as he continues on, special assistant to the general manager of the Colorado Rockies. He's in town again. Of course, Isotopes opening home series. We're going to catch up with Clint Hurdle and talk a lot of stuff behind the game. What fires him up for baseball? What still gets him excited for this and this role working throughout the minor leagues and trying to build up that next generation of baseball players? So we'll talk with Clint Hurdle coming up at 8:45. I'm excited about in the 9 o'clock hour. We're going to give our list the best NBA duos heading to the playoffs. So it's going to kind of give you a sense of where we're leaning about the teams that can go on a run, because this is the final weekend of the regular season in the NBA. And speaking of that, why is one team tired? And the excuse is it's just not going to work for the most disappointing team in the NBA. And who is that? And why are they trying to make an excuse for what is happening? It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier.
Join Hall of Fame wrestlers every week, sharing their stories from the past.
Following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
In my mind saying sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force.
The most disappointing team in the NBA. Half game back of the final play-in spot. I know the play-in tournament still hit or miss for some people, getting used to it. As you're looking at teams at 500, maybe a game or two below 500, still getting an opportunity to play in the postseason. But I think it's worked, especially when you look at some of the talent. Like, these aren't scrubs that are trying to get in the play-in tournament. But it's still disappointing, especially if you're this team. And I'm talking to you, Dallas. The Dallas Mavericks from Western Conference Finals to outside of the play-in tournament as we hit the final weekend of the regular season. 2 to 3 games left for some of these teams. We see spots locked up. There's still a ton of movement in the Western Conference. Just the top 4 teams are set. But 5 and 6 still up for grabs, as is 7, 8, 9, 10, with 11 teams vying for those spots. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. It's JJ Buck, Amory, former Lobo, Chris Perez hanging out with us. Busy man, played for the Lobos, got right into coaching and teaching, I mean, I happen to like this broadcasting stuff. We appreciate you hanging out with us. And there's been a lot of excuses this week for the Dallas Mavericks. Their problem isn't Kyrie Irving. He's the easy scapegoat in this. It started earlier this season. And you had Luka Doncic a couple weeks ago talk about how he's not smiling anymore when he's playing the game. Now you had Mark Cuban come out and say the reason they weren't able to retain Jalen Brunson was his dad got in the way of the negotiations. If I recall, when Jalen Brunson signed with New York, people thought that was an overrated move and he was getting paid too much money, and Brunson has been fantastic in New York. There's trouble in Dallas. And a lot of this, too, goes on Luka Doncic because he should be a superstar in the NBA. He is a star player.
Yeah.
Flirting with superstardom. Because I think, great elite stuff like that, we should reserve that for the few people at the top of the game. I think Luka Doncic is right there on the verge of being a superstar, especially when you take a team to the Western Conference Finals. But I don't know how you go from the Western Conference Finals to 4 games under 500. And it goes from Jalen Brunson, they miss him. And then Mark Cuban was like, well, his dad got in the way. That's why we couldn't sign him. But then you make a huge swing for Kyrie Irving. You change your rotation. You lose some of the 3-and-D guys that have helped you get where you are. And then Luka Doncic. So here's the thing. He's being honest. But should Luka Doncic be tired already? So Luka Doncic said earlier this week, quote, I've been playing basketball for 3 straight years. 4 weeks in between, it was free. Sometimes it's really hard for me to play hard on both ends. But obviously, the defensive end, I got to be way better.
Yeah.
I could see if that was a quote from, say, LeBron James at 38 years old, trying to manage the season. But should Luka Doncic already be this burnt out in his career at this point in the season with the expectations we have for him?
Yeah, and I think what you got to factor in, too, is, he's been playing pro at a very young age, growing up. And so maybe there's a lot of miles for him. And also him also understanding, it's now you're the guy. Now, you're a franchise guy, and you're trying to lead a team. Yeah, it's cool if you're a 16-year-old playing pro and, everyone's, rooting for you. But I think with his situation, you have to play on both ends. Playing 82 games is not for, that's a tough season. So I think with him, that's where you have to factor in. And the thing with Kyrie and Mark Cuban, all of them, I think this move, just, growing up a Laker fan and seeing a perspective, I think this move was just make sure Kyrie was in LA. And so I think we didn't think, I think the sports world understood that. I don't think Kyrie and Luka was really going to work. I think they needed more utility players. So I don't know. I think this kind of backfired for the Dallas Mavericks going into the playoffs.
Because when we talk about duos, which we're going to do this morning, giving you our favorite duos heading into the playoffs, which will kind of give you also a look at how we feel about the teams advancing. Basketball, we talk about it a lot. And I know what happened when LeBron went to Miami the first time. And they're like, oh, how are you going to function with Dwayne Wade? But these are different skill sets.
Oh, yeah.
We don't see a lot of these duos in the NBA where it's the exact same player.
Right.
And that's what Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic are. They're high usage scorers.
Yeah.
There's
only one ball.
Yeah. and that's the difference in this game is when you look at duos, it's usually a big man and a backcourt player, or even some of the wing players that we talk about. One of them might be more of a facilitator. You look at this matchup, they're the exact same player. And how do you buy into Kyrie Irving after this? Because you haven't seen them on the floor a lot together. They've both been in and out of the lineup.
Yeah.
And is Kyrie Irving going to be worth it to be a $200 million Robin to Luka Doncic? So what you said was really interesting is Mark Cuban makes this huge swing for Kyrie Irving, gives up some assets, but is this a future pairing that we like together?
I don't think so. I think this was kind of a short-term deal, and the Lakers do. People do. I think that there's GMs that do this because, again, they compete against each other. So you don't want to compete against another LeBron, Kyrie, AD situation. And they're in the same conference, obviously. So sometimes when you're making moves or you're making free agency, you're making sure that if they want a trade request in any sport, they're making sure you're not going to a team they've got to face either 2 times, 4 times a year, or in the same conference. So. But yeah, I think this was when I first saw this, you know what, Kyrie's kind of been, he's he's kind of high maintenance, you know, with where he wants to be, how he wants to be traded. I mean, a lot of players are this generation, you know, they're wanting to, you know, move, but you know, like I grew up playing against Kyrie and very great skill set. I mean, I played against him in high school and, but
he's one of the, and I've said it,
unbelievable ball handling skills.
Like he's the best scorer around the rim as a guard I've seen.
Oh yeah,
like in my time watching basketball.
It's Kobe-esque too. Like, you know, just seeing the way he knows how to create space. And I think especially in his Cleveland days with LeBron, like, you know, he was definitely a great player to watch. But I think, I don't know, it comes with it with your platform. Obviously, you do want to speak up. You do want to, you know, stand for certain things. But as long as it's not, to me, as long as it's not distracting to what you're doing as a person in your team. Like, you know, for me as a coach, I want to see, like, yeah, of course, you should be able to speak up for issues that you feel passionate about. That's part of just life, you know, but make sure that you still are a good person in terms of being a good teammate. You're fun to be around. You're willing to take a role, because even look at James Harden taking less money to get, you know, to help, you know, Philadelphia get better players. And it's definitely working out for them too. So I think there's just different mentalities when it comes to especially pros. Do they want the money or do you want the championships? And you got to find a balance. You know, if you're trying to be the highest paid player in NBA history or NFL history, you're probably not going to get the championships because, well, we put all this money into you. We can't surround you with championship players.
So how dangerous could the Dallas Mavericks be? We're talking play-in tournament, but when you're talking about Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, they could be a problem for someone in the NBA playoffs, but they're still trying to find their way in. They're a half game back of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the 10th spot, and we got the final 3 days of the NBA regular season. And for the Mavericks, they host the Bulls and the Spurs. So they got an opportunity because Oklahoma City, look at what they have to do to end the season. They play Memphis, but when you look at these teams, they're locked in. And that's going to be the challenge, is who's going to be even playing this weekend. Because if you're going to look at the inactive list, everyone is going to be resting ahead of the NBA playoffs. So the most disappointing team in the NBA, it's the Dallas Mavericks. But how dangerous could they be if they get into the playoffs? 505-246-0610 is a 377 Brewery hotline. That is also the Sports Animal text line this morning. Coming up at 8:45. I'm going to talk with Clint Hurdle. He managed the Pittsburgh Pirates. He took the Colorado Rockies to the World Series. He is the special assistant to the GM now for the Colorado Rockies. He's in town getting a look at the Isotopes. Looking forward to that conversation at 8:45. But coming up next, one of the best tight ends in NFL history. He's getting on board of one of the highest profile quarterbacks landing on the dark side. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Learn emergency skills at University Stadium on April 15th. You could save a life with this.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit.
Without Tom Brady, it's a little bit different. It is.
And when's Bill going to retire? And then, I mean, I think people will always, I don't know, they're not the top anymore of the AFC East. You know, I don't look as much as the villain.
But they're lurking in the dark.
They're lurking because you still, you know, I still trust Bill Belichick and his shenanigans.
But it's the Lakers of the NFL, Chris. You're like, everyone just put that person on that team. They'll be great.
Right. You know, just
Totally.
I know Laker
Give him
fans
to
are
Bill
weird.
Belichick.
Yeah, that's what Laker fans are always like. Yeah, if they go on the Lakers, they'll be perfect. They'll be fine. I would think the same
Totally.
thing with the Patriots. And, you know, I think it was just a credit to what Tom Brady did, too. I mean, was it Brady? Was it Belichick? Because Belichick has had a few quarterbacks, and they're still trying to find a good fit, you know. And, you know, I think the same thing we talked about, even like with the Spurs when Tim Duncan left, you know, look where they're at, you know. So it's, you know, we'll definitely see. I mean, I think they're trying to find the next Tom Brady.
Yeah, I didn't think that we'd be in a Patriots quarterback offseason question mark game, but that's where we are now with the Mac Jones story and Dan Patrick, who does like to throw fuel on the fire. According to Dan Patrick, a former Patriots player says there's a lot of support for Bailey Zappi in New England Patriots locker room, and that's coming off the heels of reports this week that the Patriots were potentially floating Mac Jones on the trade market. So what does this all mean for the New England Patriots? The opening drive here on The Sports Animal. JJ Buck Amory, joined by Chris Perez in studio this morning. Well, a former Patriot great, Rob Gronkowski. Mm-hmm. He was on Up and Adams, show on FanDuel TV, Kay Adams. talking about the future at the quarterback position for the Patriots. And he said, quote, "I feel like Coach Belichick always kind of dreamed of a quarterback, not just a pocket passer, but a Lamar Jackson type. The one that can run the ball as well. I just feel like he likes those types of quarterbacks from all the times he talked about them in meetings and stuff when we were going against them." And what have we been talking about? The dark horse team in the Lamar Jackson race is New England Patriots. Now, would the Baltimore Ravens let Lamar Jackson go to the Patriots? I'm not sure. And I think that's what has held some teams off of throwing an offer sheet at Lamar Jackson, is the fact that Baltimore can match it.
Right.
But I think that is real. Is Bill Belichick, it's not just Rob Gronkowski, it's other stories. Like, he's fascinated with dual threat quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He just got Cam Newton after his prime when he brought him to New England. And I think this is one that Robert Kraft, now the fully guaranteed contract, we're still not going to see that. Is Lamar Jackson going to come down on his number? But if there was a way for the Patriots to get Lamar Jackson, I think Belichick could convince Kraft to give him a lot of money, because they're not investing a lot in the skill positions players right now offensively in New England. You see this rift with Mac Jones, and it's going to be this competition between Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. So this is the team out of nowhere that I think could make a push for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and, you know, I think with Lamar, too, is that, you know, he is a dual-threat quarterback. And, you know, people always throw in, you know, shade on these dual-threat quarterbacks. But I think with him, obviously, you know, he's dealt with injuries. But I think what Lamar, you know, needs to understand with all the dual threats is that basically you run when it's necessary. You don't want to take the unnecessary hits. But I think in the Patriots realm, like, they have nothing to lose. I think this is something that, you know, it would really bring a lot of attention to this franchise in a good way. And, you know, I think them taking a chance on Lamar and their quarterback situation, obviously, it's, I mean, with, like you said, with Mac Jones, they don't know what they're going to get from him. If they're training him around, that's obviously going to be bad blood anyways. If, you know, like, all right, well, we couldn't find it. Well, you know, it's like, you know, in a relationship, like, oh, I'm looking for other people while I'm still dating you, but okay, I'll just come back to you since no one wants me, you know. So how would that go? So, yeah, I think, you know, in this situation, for the Patriots, they want to get back, and I think they can. They still have the piece. They still have the foundation, the ownership, the coaches. They could get back to the Tom Brady days for the Patriots.
Well, and this is the thing too with Lamar Jackson, is you're going to have to commit a large amount of money on a shorter term deal to get it done. But I think that makes sense, especially if you look at the New England Patriots. They're a team that doesn't invest a lot of money in skill position players.
Right.
If you get a dual threat guy in there like Lamar Jackson, the unrest that we see between him and the Baltimore Ravens, like, I'm all in on Lamar Jackson for 5 years, even if I have to commit $180 million, $190 million guaranteed, because I'm looking at maximizing that window. I don't care what Lamar Jackson is, a 35-year-old quarterback, because I know I'm not going to sign him when he's 35. I'm not giving him that 10-year deal. And so I think that Lamar Jackson can still be a difference maker, can still be a problem in this league, because you got to find a way to compete. Because, yes, you get it. You got Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. At some point in time, you figure Justin Herbert and the Chargers might figure it out. If he's that talented of a quarterback, we saw what Trevor Lawrence can do. So we know in the AFC specifically, there's a lot of good pocket passers. And you can't compare every quarterback to Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow, because you're going to lose that conversation. But if I'm looking at a guy that I think can give me a chance to compete, that can challenge those guys with the system around him, I still believe that's Lamar Jackson. I get it. I know he's not better than those guys. But if I'm looking next 4 to 5 years, he's 26 years old. Like, I believe at least I can be competitive and at least make a run, try to make a run at those guys.
Yeah, and I think, too, with, you know, obviously with injuries, I think this is just kind of a bigger topic, too, is that, you know, we're seeing players get guaranteed money, right? And then what happens is when you have guaranteed money, when you're getting injured, you're going to be more on the caution side. Like, you know, I know obviously I work with Coach Giddens, and I know some of my former teammates, they go play overseas. There's no guaranteed contracts. You get hurt, they're like, okay, bye, you're gone.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of them stick it out, because like, no, they try to hide their injuries, or they try to, because they have to, if they don't produce, they don't get paid. And so I think that's where we're coming with a natural consequence with these guaranteed contracts, is that's what they're afraid of. They don't want to sign these players and they're not going to play.
Yeah.
How good, it doesn't matter how good you are.
And that's the challenge, because I think we look at Patrick Mahomes deal, the Joe Burrow deal, like these are going to be mega deals.
Yeah.
But I think what they're doing is they're getting their money, but they're spreading it out. And that's the challenge, is you can't necessarily spread it out with Lamar Jackson because his window's shorter.
Right.
So that's going to be, I think that is exactly the challenge, because plenty of teams want Lamar Jackson as their quarterback. But to your point, is the guaranteed money, the hit that you're taking, are you going to be able to do enough with him on your football team? I still think you can, but it is a fascinating conversation because of the way that he plays. And now people are starting to throw it out there. Rob Gronkowski thinks that New England might be interested, but will Baltimore let that man walk out the door? And I don't think so. And I think that's probably what is holding all this back, is just the fact that Baltimore can match any offer. And a team is not going to throw a fully guaranteed contract at Lamar Jackson. And really, it comes down to, I think, is it sometime in July where you have the window closes to negotiate a long-term deal, or finally sign the franchise tag? Because I also think playing the wait and see game with Baltimore and Lamar is actually smart. Because if you're going to give up 2 first-round picks,
right,
well, then go through this draft. If you have a good first-round pick this year, use it, build your team, and then you can go to Lamar after the draft, try to throw that offer sheet out there, because then at that point in time, maybe it only will cost you 2 first-round picks, and go. So there's still a lot of time on this Lamar Jackson timetable, but the buzz is picking up, and the New England Patriots could be a team to watch for in the race for Lamar Jackson. And I'm still in. And I think if you're looking at trying to compete, trying to run down the elite quarterbacks in the league, I think you could do something with Lamar Jackson in the next 4 to 5 years to really compete in the NFL. 505-246-0610 and 377 Brewery Hotline. There's also the Sports Animal text line coming up at 8:45. Clint Hurdle is going to join us. Really excited to pick the brain of Clint Hurdle, former Major League manager, played 10 years in Major League Baseball, and now he's a special assistant to the GM for the Colorado Rockies. He's in town checking out the Isotopes as they continue their home series against Salt Lake this weekend. A great weekend at the ballpark. Got a lot of Easter festivities going on as well on Sunday. But skill position players, there's a couple that are making noise. One of them put a timetable on his career, and the other might reluctantly play for a team next year. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're #1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all.
Early today, Brooks Koepka 8 under par through 5, 1 under today, leading the Masters. Victor Hovland, John Rahm yet to tee off. Then you see Jason Day got a birdie early. He's at 6 under. Look down, Phil Mickelson 2 under par. This is going to be fascinating. If the weather is as bad as they say it's going to be, this group that's pulled away gets a couple shots early. No one's going to be able to run him down then this weekend. So this is game-changing weather at Augusta in the Masters, and you're looking at a dude that's won at the highest level, and Brooks Koepka is as talented as anyone out there. And what we saw yesterday, him, Hovland, and Rahm, just great rounds, especially John Rahm bouncing back from that double bogey. But
I'm here for it.
Let's go.
I want to live PGA Sunday.
and it's
come on. I mean,
not-
and I'm not one of those people that are mad at Liv. I still love all the golfers equally. I don't have a problem with Liv. I just want to see it.
because it's they always say something, nothing, or nothing, something, or like everything. It's something.
Yeah.
It's not nothing.
It's very new.
I know a lot of people have been trying to chirp and say, hey, stop asking the questions about Live Golf or that. But Brooks Koepka, if he wins, he's going to let you know, hey, Live Golfer just won the Masters. Hey, Live Golf is still where elite golfers go. And so there's going to be that aspect to it. And there's nothing wrong with the little PGA versus Live. And this is the moment it actually matters. Because the storyline last year was just about grabbing players, where are you going to play? And to me, it was kind of hollow until you actually see the golfers on the course. And then you can actually talk about it. Oh, okay. How you keep your game up in the Live tournament where there's no cut and the fields might not be as big versus the PGA Tour. Because did we not hear that a lot this week?
Yeah, but I also didn't agree with that. I was like, okay, these guys are still playing in the Masters. I know they're playing less tournaments, but these are professional athletes. I just love it, and but also watching the Masters, I'm not like, oh my god, this is so different. I can't believe this is like this doesn't feel
look odd.
This doesn't look odd. This doesn't feel different. The only difference is the guys that are in Live, I'm not watching. They're not on my TV every weekend. Like usually, I always have golf in the background. So when it's this time of year, that's like the only difference for me personally.
I think
this is
like the way it's
like usual Masters
working out.
Yeah,
Like it's the way I thought it would be. Like there's just enough. It's not this weird awkwardness where there's like a ton of fire and anxiety or angst between the guys, but they're gonna let you know. Like there is still a little bit of that. It is PGA Tour versus Live because of all the war of words. Like some of that is still going to trickle over, and we're going to see that. And especially if Koepka wins, he's going to let you know that Live Golfer just won the Masters. So we'll keep you updated on the leaderboard throughout the morning. As Koepka is 8 under par, 1 under through 6 today, a shot ahead of Victor Hovland and John Rahm. JJ Buckeye Marie, former Lobo, Chris Perez in studio, hanging out with us this morning. 505-246-0610, 377 Brewery Hotline. That is also the Sports Animal text line this morning. So a couple skill players making a lot of news this week. First, it was Tyreek Hill putting a timetable on his NFL career. He said when his deal is up in Miami, he's going to walk away, and we'll see about that. But Tyreek Hill, signing with the Dolphins, said what motivated him was Christian Kirk getting that deal with the Jaguars, and he's like, Christian Kirk can't make more money than me, and so that's when he got his $120 million deal with the Miami Dolphins. But the player that is making some waves, and it's showing that it's a challenge to be a running back in the NFL because it's hard to make your money, is Austin Eckler. And Eckler has been a fantasy superstar if you've been on your fantasy football team the last few years. But he requested a trade from the Chargers. There hasn't been a lot of movement, and because he wants another contract. And as much as we talk about guaranteed money with quarterbacks, we are seeing more and more teams realize that you do not want to pay a running back a lot of money because their shelf life is a lot smaller. There's a lot of options to find. And I think that's a challenge. So I think Eckler is in the mold of a Christian McCaffrey in terms of could be a fantastic addition to a good team to compete. But when he's asking for that contract, I don't know if we're going to see it because just think, Austin Eckler with the Buffalo Bills, Austin Eckler with the Philadelphia Eagles, like these teams that are on the cusp. This is the kind of like addition that you'd like. It's a sports car in the garage. And, he's going to be an interesting name to watch ahead of the draft because he really wants out. And he said, quote, this week, look, I guess the worst case scenario right now out of it all, I'll come back and I'll have to play for the Chargers for a year and then bet on myself in free agency next year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, with contracts, it's about what, you think they can produce and not what they already have done. So obviously Eckler has done great, for the Chargers. But I think with him, it's like you said, like the shelf life is very small, like very short. And I think that's what Tyreek Hill is understanding. A lot of these athletes, I mean, we saw Andrew Luck do it. And, there is just, make your money and then be smart enough to invest it to like where you don't have to put your body through so much. And I think football is definitely a sport where your body takes such more of a toll than any other sport. So I just think, when it comes to this, you look at, you're the segments of your life as a kid growing up. You do 4 years in high school, you do 4 years in college, but then we're expecting guys in their 20s and 30s to go 10, 15 years, and
like 3.3 years is the
that's the average NFL.
NFL
baseball's obviously probably a lot longer. Just that's what I'm saying. So that's what it's just showing that football, your body's gonna take so. If you love the sport, of course. Like I don't like. You look at golf. I mean, it's more mental. Baseball, whatever. There's sacrifices. Every sport has their own challenges that come with it. But when you look at football, I think it really is that lifespan.
Don't fret, basketball fans. We got a former Lobo in studio, and we're gonna talk about the backcourt, the transfer portal, and why this will work. Why the backcourt, the return of Jalen House, Jamal Mashpee Jr., Donovan Dent will be successful for the Lobos next season. JJ Buck Gamery, Chris Perez. It is the opening drive. Catch us on ProView Networks and 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Dream Star Stucco, Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie Castillo, and J.J. Bond.
Little rave going on Friday morning.
This is like a Friday. This is
House
Friday.
Strauss.
Dance party.
Little fist pump. Let's go. Dance party for you. Opening drive. Because Symbieta's missing. He's back on Monday. JJ Buck, Amory, former Lobo Chris Perez with you on a Friday morning Masters second round. How about that? Jason Day, he's 2 under. He's at 7 under. It's Day, Hovland, and Rahm. That Hovland and Rahm haven't teed off yet. Brooks Koepka leading the tourney at 8 under par. Watch out because this group could pull away, and then it would just be a battle on the weekend.
Weather's looking good still.
I wish I would have bet Brooksy.
He's the one guy I trusted the most.
You know,
yeah.
He was like plus 4,000 to
Not
win
just
the
that
Masters.
he won, but
I wish I would have put some money on it.
Koepka locks in
I
major
love it.
tournament.
Love it.
And he's going to let you know. 4-time major champion. He had that stretch from 2017 to 2019. He's the best player in the world.
Stopped, yeah.
He's coming off
We're
a
seeing
win
it
in
right now.
Orlando.
And he said he's healthy. He said that's the biggest thing with his game is just he's healthy. And that's a giant question mark with Tiger Woods. What we're watching is, will Tiger Woods make the cut? And the big thing, why does that matter? Because that would be 23 straight master tournaments where Tiger Woods makes the cut. And you know that matters to him. Is he going to win this tournament? No. That ship has sailed. But making it to the weekend, that's the goal of Tiger Woods. And is that the way that we want the GOAT to be remembered? No, but that's just the reality of it. The mental game versus the physical game, it's different now for Tiger Woods. 505-246-0610, 377 Brewery Hotline. And there's also the Sports Animal text line this morning. So Lobo basketball, they're still waiting on the transfer portal. The transfer portal, by the way, if you refresh it every 10 minutes, there's 5 more players in it.
It's like Wall Street.
It's wild. First, I want to get your take on this, Chris, because when you were playing at UNM, when players transferred, they still had to sit out a year.
Right.
Or whatever it was. Because I know the team that you were on, you were there from 2010 to 2014, you did have an impact transfer. It was Drew Gordon.
Right.
You know, he was one of the guys that transferred mid-year, so then he had to sit out half a season. But that was a thing, and the transfer portal wasn't as big. There was still, the development. What Steve Alford and Craig Neal did was special. To recruit that group, where they had Kendall, Tony Snell, development of Cameron Bairstow, Alex Kirk, Hugh Greenwood. Like that's like the last run. That's not happening ever again.
Yeah.
But also I think that there's positives with the transfer portal. I understand the frustration from fans. We'll talk about it. But I do like the fact that you can get good right away. And you don't have to wait on players. But as a former Division I athlete, as a coach in college athletics, how do you view with the transfer portal and what we've seen in the game?
Well, I think what it's doing, it is giving student athletes more autonomy, but also there are natural consequences that come with it. Like if you're always moving around, coaches are not going to like that because obviously like they're going to think or they're going to talk and be like, well, is the student athlete the problem or is the coach the problem? But on that same token, I think it is exposing some coaches that don't have good environments because especially in today's generation, I think you really need to focus on having a good, healthy, competitive environment at your school, wherever you're at. Obviously, working at Northern New Mexico, I know, hey, I don't have much to sell there, but what I can sell is like, hey, you're going to have a good coach that's going to care for you, that's going to be here for you, that's going to make sure, hey, we're going to have some fun with it. Yeah, it's competitive. Of course, I'm one of the most competitive guys out there. But I know what I've realized throughout my playing career, my coaching career, sometimes you got to take a step back and relax because, I mean, we see with some coaches, like, obviously prayers to Coach Self and what he's dealing with his conditions, but we've seen it with other coaches, and it takes a toll on you with all the traveling and all that stuff. So you need to unwind. But I think with the transfer portal, it really is exposing both sides, I think, equally. And I think we're just saying, all right, fine. This is what you guys wanted. Now you're going to see that it's not, the grass isn't always greener either. So you got to, it's either you are taking a risk, and some of these, what we're not talking about, are the players that don't get picked up. We're seeing, these players are going to the transfer portal, but then that's where they go to disappear. So it still is a risk, but at the same time, I think we need to still teach student athletes, just don't quit, stick it out. Because I dealt with that at UNM too, being a walk-on. Of course I wanted to play more somewhere else, but I knew the experience I was getting at UNM, it was priceless. So, I learned to stick it out. My teammates would tell me, like, hey, even though you don't play that much, you're a good asset to our team, and coaches would tell me too. So I just made sure I played my role. So I think there is something to just sticking out. Wherever you go, make sure you're committing. And at the same time with coaches, just make it comfortable, give them that choice. I tell players too, like, they just come for a year. And if you think you could go somewhere else and you're better off there, I am for that. That means I did my job. I'm helping you to go somewhere else. But sometimes if you treat them well enough, they're like, hey, I just feel comfortable with you as a coach. I feel I like this program. I think I'm going to stick it out here. And, we see that with the mid-majors. We see the players in Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. We see those players, John Morant, they stick it out where they're at. And they're like, hey, it was a good fit. And look, they're good players in the NBA.
Yeah, and that's the challenge, because is there enough of that going on? Because at the same time, it's not just the players. It's We're seeing coaches pushing players out. Like, that happens. Yeah. That's a reality of it. And I think we saw that this year, not necessarily in like a bad way, but I know Josiah Alec caught everyone by surprise when he left the Lobos. But two players that I think some Lobo fans were just scratching their head about was KJ Jenkins and Javonte Johnson.
Yeah.
Because the guy, like Javonte Johnson, is like a 3-year starter on the wing, feels like a good role player. KJ Jenkins coming off the bench. You're like, well, what's the problem with those guys? And the reality is they're just kind of being recruited over because the Lobos know that they need more size on the roster. And part of that, kind of letting the guys know where they stand. And this is an interesting one. You got an email from John. He says, is it just me? As a Lobo fan, I'm excited to see the quality players like Javonte and Bremo being told where they stand and deciding to leave. To me, that means that our coaches have told these guys what we have in the waiting or are planning to bring in. If what we have in the waiting is going to make Johnson a 3-year starter or reserve in next year's team, says that gets him excited. The same can be said for the other players as well. The coaches know what the plan is, and while it is safe to say bye to these guys, I trust the coaches and I am sure they will improve the portal process as it comes for full circle. That was from John. And I think that's kind of where people are starting to get to with the transfer portal. Like, it was a lot fast. Yeah. Like, the changes we saw in college athletics, it was like almost like overnight. It's like, boom, NIL, transfer portal, have fun figuring this out.
Right.
But I still think the positives outweigh the negatives, and just look at the last 2 years for the Lobos. Richard Pitino comes in. He's able to bring in a backcourt that plays right away. And that tone that was set by Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr. 2 years ago, and showed players like Morris Udeze and Josiah Alec, oh, hey, that's the place I want to go. They come in right away and play. But then it's also the challenges because the windows are shorter.
Yep.
It used to be, 3 to 4 years you're looking at a recruiting class, and it's almost like 2-year windows now. Maybe this window is a little bit longer for the Lobos because they get this backcourt, House and Mashburn Jr. back for a third season in Donovan Dent. How do you see that playing out? Because I know people have talked about the size. Lobos did struggle defensively. That's why the talk of getting longer and stronger on the perimeter is there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for Richard Pitino, it's not going to be easy because you got alpha guys, guards. But I think that 3-man rotation can still work really well, because if you look at the minutes played for these guys last year, Mash played 33 minutes per game, House played 31. A true freshman played 18. If you back that down to 25 for all three guys throughout the regular season, and then in the right moments, go with House, Mashburn, the hot hand, I think that could work, but how do you see it playing out?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, with Donovan Dent, I think he was a great freshman, great addition. I actually get a little biased, but he went to the same high school I did, same coach. So but I think just understanding him and getting to know him, and from my coach, and I think he's okay with the role he's playing, and I think he's going to be fine. I think he's one of those high character guys that's gonna say, you know what, I'm going to play my role, I'm going to embrace it, and he knows that. This is just, you're going to fit into this 3-man rotation, because I know in high school that's how we were. We were kind of just a rotating system because we always played fast, so we needed subs like a hockey team. So so he's kind of used to that. Again, with Mashburn bringing his mid-range game in house, his energy. So I think as long as Pitino, is up front, that's what I think that's what's a big thing with coaches now. They got to be up front. They got it with recruiting. Players got to be up front because. This is just how it is now. Like if you're not going to tell the truth, that's going to get around, and players are going to move around. So I think with these three, I think they're going to be fine. I think there's enough to go around if they want to be successful. I think that's just the nature of college basketball too, especially here at this mid-major. So I think with those three, they're good. I think it's going to be a good rotation. They're not going to be like, oh, who should start? Like, no, you all three are your impact players. If you're a 6-man, you embrace that. You come off the bench. So. But yeah, I think obviously Donovan, he did well as a freshman. He won Freshman of the Week, one of the weeks in the Mountain West. So I think he's got to be fine. I think he's got to have a pretty good sophomore year, and then he's still learning. He's underneath some really experienced guards, and he's next man up.
And so I'm looking at that number, maybe 25 minutes per game throughout the regular season, and of course, the games you need it. One of the guys is going off, you ride the hot hand, right. But that's why. I think Richard Pitino could make this work, to your point. Being up front, being honest with these guys, saying, hey, maybe we'll take a few minutes off your game during the regular season, but then that could allow them to be better late in the season. That's always a challenging thing, too, for coaches, because we hear so much in this game, get old and stay old. There's going to be some youth that needs to play next year for the Lobos, especially on the wing. If you're talking about Quentin Webb, who redshirted this year, we'll see someone like Braden Applehawn, 6'7", guard, but then you got Jaden Toppin, the 6'8" forward coming in, explosive stretch player. Someone like True Washington, a 6'4" guard. So that's going to be interesting because in the portal they're getting third, fourth year forwards, at least 2 of them to come in and start right away. So what are they going to do on the wing? Right, it's going to be a challenge. You might have to play some young guys, and that's always hard as a coach. You know how it is.
It's hard, but it's fun. It's like how do you make all this work? And especially at the college realm, you gotta you get to pick your players, you get to see how it works, and so we'll definitely see.
Coming up at 8:45, Clint Hurdle, special assistant to the general manager for the Colorado Rockies, is going to join us. Talk about his role within the organization and what he's seeing so far here in Albuquerque as the Topes continue their opening home series against Salt Lake. Hear those games right here on The Sports Animal. Another disturbing story for an NBA star comes out from his turbulent summer, and a giant what if. JJ Buck, Gamer, Chris Perez. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
Too strong. It's going to be a rebound there by Brown. Brown gets it in. Bucket there by Alter.
Crossover for Jackson. Salas steals the rebound and finds a cutting Mitchell at the rim.
Great move.
It's almost even in the foul territory, and the Cueva looking to take advantage. Said Yates draws the foul, and one opportunity is said, gives the muscles down.
And it's 11-4, 38. Another turnover by Rio Grande. Montoya off the glass, up and in, back-to-back layups for the Demons.
Stolen away again by Valdez. Valdez going to bring it out.
Valdez has to have around 3 or 4
penetrates, no foul call. Rodriguez lines one up and knocks down the three. First basket of the night.
Wants to back it out.
Look at this deep three.
Wow! That was from NBA range.
What a steal. Stevison 2-on-1, gets up, gets it in.
He doesn't use it, comes back out to Dominguez, who takes a three. Boom! There's that man, Superman.
Turns, shoots off. Oh, wow. He made that.
Wow. That was crazy. That was a crazy shot.
Has everybody on him. Now he got open.
Open look for a three, and that's what he does. A three for Denaclaw. His first bucket of the game. And that's a three, and it'll count at the buzzer.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Okay, has Chris ever hoed before?
He's never hoed like this.
You gotta hoe. Just follow along.
All right.
That was a good hoe, JJ.
Feeling good on a Friday morning. It's
Symbieta
Friday
would be
now.
proud. Yeah.
Got the core engaged on that one.
Yeah. It's a good workout.
Yeah.
We
Gotta
do that
get
on
ready for
Fridays,
Friday.
Chris.
It's a Friday
Anytime
hoe.
you come hang out with us,
Now
you
it
gotta
feels
hoe.
like Friday. On the opening drive, a little double Dutch bus for you. JJ Buck Amory, former Lobo Chris Perez, chilling with you here on the Sports Animal. 505-246-0610, the 377 Brewery hotline. There also is the Sports Animal text line. So a little more trouble in Memphis Grizzly land ahead of the playoffs. Memphis, this is the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. They're a really good basketball team. They got a star in John Morant, but we know about the issues, and unfortunately, there's another one. Washington Post recently provided details on another incident last summer that took place involving John Morant and a shoe salesman. Given Busby, the shoe salesman, said he allegedly spent an hour in the back of a sneaker store hiding from Morant. And this apparently happened after the All-Star guard threatened him. Busby went to the police with that information. However, he never heard from them again. And according to the Washington Post, the Memphis Grizzlies worked with the police behind the scenes. And that indicates that Memphis was aware of John Morant's behavior. Now, he allegedly went to rehab for a weekend after he served an 8-game suspension from the NBA. Recall, he was the strip club up in Denver, flashed a weapon on his social media account. There is a lot more here that a weekend at a rehab facility is not going to cure for John Morant. And this is an exceptional player. And these underlying issues could derail the future of the Memphis Grizzlies. Like, there's so much stuff behind the scenes that Memphis was trying to cover up, because that's multiple incidents now from just last summer that bled in to this season. And at some point in time, you really have to start putting up the stop sign and go, all right, how do we get this back on track? We're a franchise player.
Well, I think, as a coach, you look at guys like that, their upbringing, their background, and you kind of take a chance on guys like that and help them out. But like, to cover it up, that's what it's kind of sketchy in that aspect. But we look at, like, why did he go to Murray State? Maybe why did he go to Murray State? Was it because of this stuff that other schools were afraid of? But schools like that, usually mid majors or wherever, JUCOs, are going to take on those kind of kids, and we've seen it. And so I just think with John Morant's situation and what there's obviously a pattern there, and it's just there's a lot more to it. I mean, when you hide things, you can only hide it for so long.
It's gonna come back to bite you, and you're seeing that right now, because the Memphis Grizzlies are the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, but no one trusts them.
No,
like, we should be talking about, yes, the Denver Nuggets, the 1 seed, the Memphis Grizzlies, like, as legitimate threats in the Western Conference, but we're all focused on Phoenix, Golden State, and even the Lakers at this point in time. And part of that is because of the uncertainty with John Morant, because that's going to boil over, and that's catching up to him at this point in time. It's just another unneeded storyline for this team ahead of the playoffs.
It's all about distractions, who's playing hot at the right time. So I think we're definitely seeing, it all shake up. And I think that's what you said about the play-in tournament. This is where you kind of bring the March Madness, because Charles Barkley always talks about the 1-game playoff anything could happen, but if you put them into a 7-game series, typically the better team ends up winning. So we'll definitely see how things shake up, especially in Memphis.
Well, hey, Marie, I don't know if you've been to the break room yet this morning.
No.
But apparently there's food in the house.
What?
It is the Friday to be here at the Sports Animal.
I'm ready for it.
Are you ready? As Dave's High Desert Valley Grill is in the house. Josh Lovato. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
I am fantastic. I am super excited to check out what you guys have brought us. And we're very excited to be talking with you. And, of course, you guys got High Desert Grill, 5200 Eubank now popping, the place to be. And this is great for the weekend, too. If you're looking at a place, because it's going to be busy.
Yes.
It's Easter weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday is going to be busy. But if you want to get out with the family a little earlier, get some food, this is the place to go.
Yeah, come on out early this Sunday, especially if you're coming, because tables are filling up fast. Reservations are already booked. So it's going to be a great day. We've got some great weekend specials. So, yeah, come on out.
But, of course, you hit everything. You got the burgers, the steaks, the bowls. So that's a big thing these days, salads. But what really interests me is I hear the home-cooked food, the comfort food. One of the hardest things to find is meatloaf.
Oh, yeah.
There's something about meatloaf that's it's made at home versus like what you get at restaurants. It's not the same. Yeah. So how do you do it?
Our meatloaf is stuff that you make at home. It's pretty good. It's one of our most popular dishes. It's one of Dave's secret recipes. Yeah, he puts a lot of love and care into the recipes that he chooses. And this one's pretty good. It's one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, 'cause that's always one of those things. You hear home cooked meal, comfort food, and I've noticed that's one that there's just something about meatloaf.
One of
You
our
can get like bad ones when you go out.
Right. No, but ours is really good. A couple of other comfort foods that we got that people are always looking for that you can't get a lot of places that are good. We do pot roast. We do fire braised short ribs, which are just fall off, peel apart. They're amazing. Yeah.
You mentioned, of course, the weekend specials. You guys have a lot of brunch going on. What do you see people really gravitating to and enjoying in those times?
So the first thing, the most popular special that we have on the weekends is our mimosa special. So you buy one and you get 3 for free.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So so you get yourself some pancakes and breakfast burrito and some mimosas. It works if you're by yourself. Yeah. Call that Uber.
Yeah.
But that's what people have really been lining up for lately. It's a great deal. Our mimosas are amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
So Dave's High Desert Grill, 5200 Eubank at the location out there. Open 7 days a week, brunch, lunch, dinner, as you said, cocktails, beer, and wine. So a little something for everyone.
Yeah, and we're getting next week. We'll be opening our patio, so you can come out, get a nice burger and a brew, and go sit out on the patio and enjoy the weather. Yeah, it's that time.
Well, we are excited to try the food. I know our sports animals absolutely ate it up. It's Dave's High Desert Grill, 5200 Eubank. Appreciate you stopping by.
All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Checking that out, and I can't wait. I'm racing to the break room. When we come back on the other side, why this trade changed the fate of an NFL franchise unexpectedly. That's next. Opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This message is brought to you by the New Mexico Department of Game and Fish.
Too strong. It's going to be a rebound there by Brown. Brown gets it in. Bucket there by Alter.
Crossover for Jackson. Salas steals the rebound and finds a cutting Mitchell at the rim.
Great move.
It's almost even in the foul territory, and the Cueva looking to take advantage. Said Yates draws the foul, and one opportunity is said, gives the muscles down.
And it's 11-4, 38. Another turnover by Rio Grande. Montoya off the glass, up and in, back-to-back layups for the Demons.
Stolen away again by Valdez. Valdez going to bring it out.
Valdez has to have around 3 or 4 steals. 3 by Mays.
Bingo! That one rattles in for Alyssa Mays, and the All-District Player of the Year has 12. Penetrates, no foul call. Rodriguez lines one up and knocks down the 3. First basket of the night.
Back it out.
Look at this deep 3.
Wow! That was from NBA range.
What a steal. Stevison 2-on-1, gets up, gets it in.
He doesn't use it. Comes back out to Dominguez, who takes the 3. Boom! There's that man, Superman.
Turns, shoots off. Oh, wow. He made that.
Wow. That was crazy. That was a crazy shot.
Has everybody on him. Now he got open.
Open look for a 3, and that's what he does. A 3 for Denaclaw. His first bucket of the game. And that's a 3, and it'll count at the buzzer.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future and get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant James.
The dude is on fire. An Eagle at 8. Brooks Koepka 10 under, a 3-shot lead at the Masters.
A man on a mission.
Jason Day 2 under today. He's at 7 under. We still got Victor Hovland and John Rahm yet to tee off. And those 4, they seem to be pulling away. But we'll see if anyone can get hot and get going here early before the weather starts to change. Right now it's good. Cloudy. 8 miles per hour the wind out of the south at Augusta National. And they've been predicting doom and gloom coming this weekend. But Brooks Koepka, a man on a mission, with a 3-shot lead at the Masters tournament. It's the opening drive here on the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, A. Marie, former Lobo Chris Perez with you this morning. So as we head down the stretch, NFL draft at the end of this month. First round is April 25th. The game changer was Carolina trading up to number 1 overall. Because that shifted things for everyone. And the team that was hurt the most by that is the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
And the Colts, when it was Chicago, Houston, Arizona, Indianapolis, I think Indianapolis felt, hey, we'll find a way to get C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young in that scenario. But now that Carolina traded up to number 1, first 2 picks, in whatever order, it has to be C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
So now if you're the Indianapolis Colts, do you like Will Levis that much? Are you willing to take on a project in Anthony Richardson, who's a phenomenal athlete, the quarterback from Florida, but might need some time? Because this was the moment in time that Jim Irsay, and he spoke spoke out about it, said Indianapolis has to find their quarterback of the future. And they were the team that was hurt the most by Carolina trading up to number 1. Because do you like Will Levis? Do you want to take the project that is Anthony Richardson? Because it's that shiny car. It's not shiny yet, excuse me. It's a car that it has the engine, goes 200 miles per hour in one direction, doesn't have the suspension yet.
Right. Need some work.
And
it's fixer-upper.
But do the Colts get in the Lamar Jackson race? Do the Colts call maybe on someone like Mac Jones? Is this Will Levis, Anthony Richardson?
Yes.
What are you seeing? Because they're going young this draft.
So they are going young, and with what was you said the 4th overall pick, 5th.
Yeah.
I just know from now being involved in the Colts world, Chris, we have a thing called team-in-law here. It's become a fun thing we use here.
You're a Vikings fan, but your husband
I'm a
is
Vikings
Colts
fan, but my husband's a Colts fan, so we
Gotcha.
called it team-in-law. I told Jeff Symbieta that he needs to coin the term because it's just so great. But anyways, my team-in-law. What I'm hearing from that universe is that they want Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. They want a new quarterback. They don't want an already established quarterback in the NFL. They want to start new.
And the value of quarterbacks is always pushed up in drafts, but they're the team that were hurt the most by that. Like Carolina making that move because
they need a quarterback.
They for sure thought they were
it has
gonna
been since Andrew Luck, it's just been a mess.
So here's the thing. We know that every top pick isn't the best quarterback. Every top pick doesn't pan out. But the percentages, I believe in C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. I think they have the highest percentage of being successful quarterbacks. I am super intrigued by Anthony Richardson. I have him as my QB3 in this draft. Will Levis is a harder one for me because I get it. The talent wasn't the same. He wasn't throwing to the wide receivers that C.J. Stroud was throwing to. He was not in the system that Bryce Young played at Alabama. And these are the hard things to weigh when it comes to the NFL draft and evaluating talent.
Yeah.
Because it's not a negative to be surrounded by talent, but we can also see that with some of these guys, it takes you to a different level.
Yeah, and that's my thought too. Is like, do they trade? Do they trade around that pick, or even to me, like it's at least it's less pressure for the Colts as well. Like like a lot of times, and even the NBA draft, you got a Durant and Odin. Like it's to them. I think me personally, I think Richardson's probably the better, project for them. But yeah, like you said, like they need a quarterback. They need to figure something out.
So I think Anthony Richardson, my comp would be Josh Allen.
Yeah,
because Allen was a little raw, needed some refinement coming out of Wyoming. Now Richardson the same way, unbelievable physical tools, kind of focus him in. And I think that would be the case. I think the Colts at 4, if they take Anthony Richardson, they'll be happy because the life changed for them when Carolina traded up to number 1. Coming up next, we're going to talk with a baseball lifer, a manager for the Colorado Rockies when they went to the World Series, played 10 years in Major League Baseball, now a special assistant to the general manager. Clint Hurdle set to join us next here on The Sports Animal. JJ Buck Gamer and Chris Perez on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say, people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers, they maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Baseball season is underway. You can hear all the Ice Hopes games right here on the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, Amory, Chris Perez with you this morning here on the Sports Animal. And our next guest, he managed the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Colorado Rockies, helped Colorado to the 2007 World Series, an appearance against the Boston Red Sox, lit the world on fire with Rocktober, played 10 years in the big leagues, and now is a special assistant to the general manager for the Colorado Rockies. He is Clint Hurdle. Clint, good morning. Thank you for joining us on the Sports Animal. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, Clint, you spent the majority of your life in baseball. We're talking, from Little League all the way up to the big league. What fires you up about baseball? What keeps you coming back to the ballpark?
Well, I think you've got to talk about competition. I mean, the opportunity to compete, to see how you can measure up. I think hand in hand with that, though, is the opportunity to be on a team and to contribute to a team, to know that you need all different sizes, kinds, types to be good and to be successful, and to be able to share in that and absolutely share in other people's successes as well. So probably those two things are the ones that keep me coming back and keep me loving to watch the games and participate in a small way now.
And you've got the last couple of seasons working in this role for the Rockies, top to bottom in the organization. What's it been like for you in this part of your baseball journey with they're trying to pass on the knowledge and prop everyone up from single A all the way up to the big leagues?
This has been fun because the time spent at the major leagues has been minimal, and that's kind of the way we designed it coming in. When Bill Schmidt and I sat down, he asked me to come back, and I asked him what his thoughts were and how did he think I would fit. He shared that he wanted me in the player development side, 90% of the time, because his expertise and all his experience has been in scouting. He goes out and finds players. He goes and looks at players and deploys his other scouts to find players, and then we sign them and turn them into our player development program. He didn't have a lot of history of what we were doing in player development. And he wanted, I think, another set of eyes other than Chris Forbes and Jesse Stender's eyes on it. He's got a number of coordinators that work throughout our minor league system, but he wanted somebody that he had history with to come and take a look under the hood and to make sure we're in alignment and make sure that we are finding ways to compete and to build good men, good ball players, successful teams. That has been the focus of my work, you want to call it that, the last 2 seasons. It's been to help grow these young boys into men on and off the field. It's helped to grow the leadership that they've got, the managers and coaches, up respectfully and professionally to honor the organization, the cities that they're representing, and the fan bases.
Clint Hurdle joining us here on The Sports Animal. So there's a book out there by Bill Treasurer. It's called A Leadership Kick in the Ass, How to Learn from Rough Landings, Blunders, and Missteps. And you wrote the foreword to that book, and where you said there are 2 kinds of leaders, those who have been humbled and those who are about to be. And what you were just talking about and kind of that leadership, how do you take that approach to you with that mindset with players that, of course, are going to be humbled in the game of baseball?
Well, first of all, a tip of the hat. You did some homework there, brother. That's well done. I've actually written a number of forewords to books, and I'm finally getting some people beat on me to write my own. It's much easier to write a forward. Bill's a good friend of mine, and leadership is something that, I spent a lot of time learning from Kelly McGregor here in this organization. Kelly may have been the most impactful man in my life after my father. And Kelly always talked about leadership not ever being able to have a day off. You have to be aware as a leader. You need to probably use your ears and eyes more than your voice, so you have an understanding and awareness of what's around you, who's around you. And if you truly watch people and you listen to them, they're going to tell you who they are, what they are, and probably where they're headed. The humble part, I learned the hard way. And I know now that at the age of 65, there's so much more for me to learn out there. The game of baseball has pivoted in such a different direction than the game I came up to the major leagues, when I was 20, 45 years ago. So I've had to catch up. I don't need to whine and complain about what I don't like about it. I need to figure what I do like about it, hold on to that, learn some of the other things that I think come into play. But it's about building relationships at the end of the day. And leadership, if you don't build relationships and your people don't trust you, they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to let you coach them up. You need to let people know that you care about them, that you can help them get better, that you want to hear from them, and you build that relationship. And some relationships get built quicker than others. Some just take time. And I think the one beautiful thing I've always enjoyed about baseball, I still do. We got a pitch clock now, but I think it's for all the right reasons. But the time, when you can invest your time into somebody, it's the most valuable gift you can give somebody. And that's what I'm trying to do down here with these young players. I'm giving them my time. I want to share some experience, strength, and hope, and failure with them. Many times I'll put an arm around a player, whether it's Toglia, whether it's Shunk, whether it's Brendan Doyle, Hunter Stovall. I'll say, son, let me tell you what. I can tell you what won't work in that situation. Here's 7 things I tried that did not work and will not work. Success, you got to find on your own sometimes, but there's some things that are always shareable.
Clint Hurdle joining us here on the Sports Animal. And Pedro Lopez managing my Soaps this season. Of course, Warren Schaefer got the opportunity to go up and be a coach with the Colorado Rockies. Pilo, he's open, he's honest. He's got that old school flavor navigating this new school world, which you touched on. What does Pilo bring to this organization, specifically here in Albuquerque?
Well, he's got a lot of strong characteristics. We're very happy to have him. I thought it was a wonderful decision by Warren when we sat down and figured out who would slide into that position once Warren was given the opportunity to move to the major leagues. We're all very happy for him as well. Number one, he's got grit. The guy's been around. He's had to fight, scratch, and claw for everything he got in the game. He's got tremendous experience. Being bilingual is always going to help. He grew up a certain way. He can identify with Latin players like I can't. He's lived enough in the States that he's been Americanized in some areas, and he understands that as well. Former position being a catcher, that opens up the diamond for him a lot of different ways. He can have conversations with everybody on the field. He's been a very good student of the game. I love his leadership style. I think we've got the right man in place here. And don't think for a second that all of us aren't putting every effort. We want to put the field for you last year. Nobody woke up last year and said, well, let's go out and hope the Isotopes win 48 games. That was disappointing for everyone. We had tremendous success throughout our minor league program. I think we finished second in baseball in wins. And that's what, the Isotopes only pulling on 48 of them. So it was a hard season for everybody here. Front office, fans, players. We want to do better. But to do better, you got to play better. And they got to coach better. We're all working hand in hand. We're locking arms. We want to put a better team on the field. These guys, I believe with all my heart, is a good group. We're going to pitch it better. I don't think we can pitch it any worse. We got another newcomer in Chris Mahalik that I've known for a long time as our pitching coach. We've got Pacheco back as a hitting coach. You couldn't want a better hitting coach in this opportunity. Strong staff. Pilo's a good man, good leadership qualities. He's not the guy that also wants to be out front all the time. I think if you watch, he's got a quiet confidence to him that I think the players and the other coaches appreciate.
Got a few more minutes with Clint Hurdle, special assistant to the GM for the Colorado Rockies in town, checking out the Isotopes as they open their home season with the Salt Lake Bees in town. Clint, what kept you on the diamond? Because as a kid, your dad got a job at the Kennedy Space Center. you were a bat boy with the Cocoa Astros. So is that where you fell in love with baseball? Because it could have been easy to take off to space. So what kept you on the diamond?
It could have been easy to take off to space. You know, the biggest challenge I had was not grabbing a surfboard and hitting Cocoa Beach 7 miles away over 520. You know, we lived on a little island. One bridge takes you over there, and down the road south from Cocoa Beach was Patrick Air Force Base. And that's actually where they filmed the old TV show I Dream of Jeannie. And us teenagers at the time, we kept thinking Barbara Eden was actually down at Patrick Air Force Base. We try to head down that way every once in a while. I was just gravitated to the game of baseball. I played all sports growing up. My dad was my coach in football and baseball and basketball. Other people got involved. But baseball was a game that I never had to be asked to practice. I would pick it up, make it up. We'd go down to the park. However many kids we have, we'd figure it out on our own, ride our bikes, brown bag lunch. Football, I love Friday night. Basketballs, I wasn't that good. I was that scrappy kid that would get on the floor, throw an elbow, take a foul, get a rebound. Baseball just seemed to be a sport that I was built for, not just physically, but I do believe mentally as well. And my dad's job afforded him opportunity to be engaged with me working at the Space Center. I was enamored by the Space Center. It was a way of life. It was what put food on the table and gave my dad a place to go, my mom a place to go every day and be productive. And the one thing that I did gravitate to, those astronauts, you know, they were stars. They were superstars. They made a commitment to their country. They made a commitment to the organization. And they made a commitment to each other. And the one thing that I think really kind of galvanized me understanding the space program, the importance of it, was they got so good at it that everything went up, everything came down fine. The one time something didn't, you know, we freaked out as a world because people don't understand how hard that is to do and how many people are involved. There's so many fingerprints on success. That's one of the things I've always loved about baseball is there's so many fingerprints on success. There's so many parts that need to work together. So I think the team camaraderie aspect, go back to that, the community part of it, being engaged. And truthfully, you know, back in the day, the scoreboard was the only tablet I ever paid any attention to. I got an iPad. I got all these tablets now, but still, when I go to the ballpark and look at that scoreboard, that's the tablet that I fell in love with as a little kid, the one I'm still in love with now.
Well, Clint, we always appreciate the time. It's so great to be able to catch up with you, what you're doing when you come into Albuquerque. Love the stories, and thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit this morning.
You're welcome. Come on out to the ballpark. It's going to be a fun team to watch, and it's a beautiful place to be. Kenny Young's in town. John Traub, I've known them all. Forrest, our PR guy, a good group of people. Michelle with a community activity around. It's just fun, man. It's going to be a good summer.
I appreciate you, Clint. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Clint Hurdle, Special Assistant to the General Manager for the Colorado Rockies, joining us here on The Sports Animal. Wonderful stuff there. I will remember Rocktober forever as a Colorado Rockies fan. That's some of the best times of my life watching baseball. Can't wait to see if they can get back to that. And it starts here in Albuquerque. Of course, the minor leagues working their way up to Major League Baseball. JJ Buck-Amory, Chris Perez. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Dream Star Stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie Castillo, and JJ Bach.
It used to be about the big three. Kind of becoming duos now in the NBA. The Heatles, thing of the past. The Celtics, KG, Paul Pierce. Was Ray Allen the third in that?
Yeah, I would say so.
He was still dropping them from threes at that time, but it's kind of duo basketball now in the NBA. There's some good teams, got some depth, but it's the duos that stand out. So with just 3 days left in the NBA regular season, we head to the playoffs. Who are the best duos in the NBA? And I'll give you some insight into who are the favorites heading into the playoffs. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. It's JJ Buck, Amory, former Lobo Chris Perez with you this morning. Appreciate Clint Hurdle. Fantastic stuff there. Always great to catch up. But someone like Clint Hurdle played 10 years in Major League Baseball, tremendous manager for the Pirates and Rockies in town for the Ice Hopes. And that was for you, Topes fans. They want to win. They're trying to win. Yeah. Trying to put a product out there. I know a couple of y'all heard that and liked what you heard, but it's hard, man. Minor League Baseball, trying to build your way up to the major leagues. What you got is great ballpark, good people out there, and it's going to be a great weekend. The weather, it turned good at the right time to enjoy Easter and some baseball. Let's get into these NBA duos because I think it's a really interesting way to look at the playoffs. Yes, it's a team game. You're looking at the metrics, who's playing well offensively and defensively, but in crunch time, who are the guys that are going to lead your team? And for me, let's start. I'll give you 10 through 6. I'll start there. and then we'll start bouncing around. So the 10th best duo heading to the playoffs for me, that was a little bit of an asterisk, but it would be Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They would be number 10, just because I don't know where Paul George is going to be at.
Right.
Returning from injury. The Clippers right now tied with the Golden State Warriors, 42 and 38 overall, but they hold the 5th spot ahead of Golden State because we have seen a resurgence this year in Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
He's looked good. He's attacking on both ends of the floor, and I think that would be the 10th best duo in the playoffs. Number 9 for me, Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. The Sacramento Kings have been a fun story this season. They are the 3 seed in the Western Conference, the Sacramento Kings, because they are legit offensively, got some holes defensively, but Fox and Sabonis has really worked.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was rough to give up Tyrese Halliburton initially in the deal, but here we go again. You're looking for who's the complementary player, and you got the forward playing off of the guard in Sabonis and Fox.
Yeah, and I think too with with Coach Brown bringing us a good system, and in Sacramento they love their basketball up there. So if you get going up there, I remember the early 2000s, the Lakers and Kings going back and forth. So I think that it's good. It's good for the NBA for Sacramento to be back at the top.
So my number 8 duo ahead of the NBA playoffs, and they could be slipping down because of the story that we talked about. Because where is this dude going to be mentally? But it's Ja Morant and Desmond Bane. And the Memphis Grizzlies, the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. Desmond Bane is a player that can be a number 1 scoring option at times, plays really well off of Ja Morant. But where's Ja Morant going to be mentally for the 2 seed at Memphis Grizzlies? Number 7, this one hurts. This one hurts me. As a Nuggets fan, that I only have him at 7. It's Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. And I think some of it, too, is it's hard. I know it's late in the season, and you're locked in. The Nuggets are locked into the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
But what happened at Houston the other night where they had a chance to win that game and lock up the number 1 seed, and they lost to the Rockets, really bothered me because it was the second time this season the head coach Michael Malone called his team soft.
Yeah.
And that's not really where you want to be right ahead of the postseason.
Mm-hmm. I think it must be a Houston thing because you remember the Texans, they won their last game, and we were like, wait, you guys have the number 1 pick, so like,
what are you
even Houston, the Rockets part, like you guys are trying to get a draft pick, and something like that happened. So yeah, I know that's why I'm like, your list, my list. I'm like, you got to factor in some injuries here, and all this stuff.
At number 6 for me, so we're doing 10 through 6 of our top 10 NBA duos ahead of the postseason: LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And aggressive Anthony Davis is a good Anthony Davis. And when we see, LeBron James picking his moments, which he has done down the stretch, they're really good. So there's 10 through 6 for me.
JJ, you know what's fun about this especially is like you talk about Paul George and Anthony Davis. Like to see all these guys healthy in the playoffs is going to be my favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers
crossed, knocked on wood. If all these guys can stay healthy, it is going to be the best NBA playoffs in a very long time.
There's 10 through 6 for me.
What does this conversation always come down to? It's who is injured.
Right.
It's always if injured. If even Kevin Durant right now, like anyone that's coming back from injury, this is going to be. I'm just so excited
because the talent is stacked in the NBA. So
you're right on point with your list. It's just like okay, but what the motto of the NBA is: if they stay healthy, this is the list. This is the top.
Now here's the thing too: when you look at the Western Conference, is it that talented? Or is it, quote unquote, mediocre, as some people are saying? But that's 10 through 6 for me. Who do you like in some duos?
Yeah, well, again, you got to factor in the injuries and stuff. But yeah, John Bane for me at number 10, just because, again, I think Memphis is very balanced. I think, with my last 2, Minnesota's balanced too. So, with John Bane, then I kind of said, with the Minnesota, it's kind of hard to pick who's really the duo there, Ann Edwards, Cat, Rudy Gobert. But then, I do have Fox and Sabonis at number 8. I did sneak in the Warriors. They're shooting backcourt, in Curry and Thompson. I put them at number 7 because you can never count them out. They know how to turn the switch on when they need to. And then at number 6, I do have, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George also there too. But again, that factored in, who's healthy and at the right time. So, but I think Ty Lue's done a great job with the Clippers. I mean, man, they really have the Lakers number these last years, no matter what.
11 in a row?
11.
Over the Lakers. And what was the game of the season the other night?
Yeah, and there was a big meeting. I mean, we can't keep talking about banners as Laker fans anymore. I mean, we gotta. What are we doing now? You know, that's the, as a Laker fan, that's like, come on, man. Like we gotta beat Clippers. I don't care if we're both tanking for a draft pick or we're both fighting for the 1 seed. You know, that's a big game.
So here's the thing too, we did 10 through 6. That was all Western Conference teams. So the Western Conference is gonna be fascinating in the playoffs. Who are the top 5 duos heading into the postseason? We'll give you our top 5, and then how that plays out is who is the pressure on, because I do think that there are 2 teams above anyone else, not necessarily that are the favorites, but we're talking about if they don't get to a conference finals, we could see a whole new look for those teams next season. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
When DeMar Hamlin collapsed on the field during...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Industries is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical.
Sports Animal.
Tough start for Roy McElroy. He's +2 on the day through 4. So he's 2 over par. Projected cut line still +1, but it's early.
You know who's not having a tough morning? Brooksy.
Brooks Koepka,
He's -10 right now.
eagle on 8. 3 under par for the day.
He's having a day.
3 shots ahead of Jason Day, Victor Hovland, and John Rahm. Jason Day, 2 under par, joining that group at 7 under par in second place. Victor Hovland, John Rahm, they'll get going both around 11 a.m. Mountain Time, teeing off for them. Colin Morikawa, Jordan Spieth, 2 under par. They're in a 3-way tie for 5th at 5 under. But that's that third group. He has Koepka by himself, the -7 group, the -5 group. And right now is the time to get on the course. Partly cloudy, still clear. Get that score. And we could definitely see a definitive line where someone is not going to make a run if the weather gets as bad as it is. Just get to the weekend with that lead. Pretty much survive in advance type of mentality from Brooks Koepka or anyone else on that leaderboard. But Brooksy on fire, getting it done early in the second round.
Yeah, I know if his competitive nature is going to be like, well, I want to try to get the score as high as possible, or, you know, when you know what the weather conditions, do I just kind of maintain this lead?
That's
right.
Yeah. Well, the way he's playing right now, he's going to be aggressive, and he's on it. And we're also keeping an eye on Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is not winning the Masters, but he's trying to keep the streak alive.
Yeah.
He's at 22 straight cuts made in Masters tournaments, trying to get 23. And that's the thing. Is that what you want from the GOAT, one of the greatest of all time? No, but that's the reality of the situation. It's just Tiger trying to make it to the weekend. Because right now, physically, it just does not match up to where he is mentally. That's what happens when you get older, and then you've almost lost your leg in a car accident.
It's unreal.
There's a lot going on.
It's unreal. It's unreal.
Yeah, just with that
He
swing.
is unreal.
Yeah, and that bunker, it just.
And he left it.
You hold on.
Simply put, after the round yesterday, when he asked how is he doing, he's like, I'm sore. And that's it. That's the reality for Tiger Woods, man. He's battling major knee injuries, not just from being an athlete his entire life, but that car accident, trying to come back from it.
The surgeries, all that.
Multiple surgeries. And this is it. This is the reality of it. For Tiger Woods, we all want to see him competing, but now it's just, can he get to the weekend?
Yeah.
And can we just see Tiger Woods make another cut at the Masters? 505-246-0610, the 377 Brewery hotline, and the Sports Animal text line. JJ Buck, A. Marie, former Lobo, Chris Perez hanging out with you this morning on the opening drive. So we're giving our best duos ahead of the NBA playoffs. This is the final weekend of the regular season. And just a reminder about the play-in tournament. What is the play-in tournament? Well, 7 plays 8. The winner of that game is the 7th seed. 9 plays 10. The winner of that game will play the loser of the 7 versus 8 matchup for the 8th seed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
It's what you're playing to get into the postseason. And I know it's still relatively new for a lot of people. So that's what we're looking at. It's not, 3-game series type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's one-off games. Win and you're in if you're the 7 and 8 seed, and you get an opportunity, even if you lose, to play one more game against the 9 versus 10 winner to get in. And what could be really interesting in all of this is how it sets up. So if the Warriors, Lakers, Pelicans, and Clippers win their final games this weekend, it would be Warriors the 5th seed, the Pelicans the 6th seed. So the top 6 are in. They don't got to play another game.
Maybe sneak in.
And then 7-8 would be Clippers, Lakers.
But we all want to see, but for us as Laker fans, we're probably all right. That's it.
So then you're looking at if the loser of that game playing 9-10, that's either going to be Minnesota. Well, Minnesota, I think it's firmly in. Minnesota, Oklahoma City, and the Dallas Mavericks.
The Lakers did actually play really, really hard. I think they came from a lot. It was a big overtime win against Utah the night before, and then the Clippers had a lot of rest, so that could factor in. Just when I watched it, the eye test, I thought, you know what, they were competing. I think LeBron, AD, they were both like, hey, we're gonna
so big early.
Yeah, and I mean they were shooting the lights out. Clippers, it's something extra with the Lakers. If they played the Lakers 82 games or 82-0, just based on how hard they want to play. But I don't know. We'll see it with the play in. I think everyone would want to see another Lakers Clipper rematch, because I think the Lakers they came close. They kept trying to get within reach. They got within 7 a few times that game. So I think I think the Lakers definitely have a chance. And the way they're playing, I think Rob Pelinka did a great job, really kind of playing damage control and getting the players he got. I mean, I've always liked D'Angelo Russell. I think we should have never got rid of him. But they with Morikawa, like Austin Reeves playing tough. Lakers when healthy. That's always the big if. When healthy, I think they could be dangerous.
So, all right, I'll give you our top 5 duos ahead of the NBA playoffs. Quickly to recap for you: 10 through 6 for me was Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Sabonis and Fox, Ja and Bane, Joker and Murray, LeBron and AD. Here's my top 5. At number 5, Steph, and I went with Draymond. For Steph and Clay, the Splash Brothers, that backcourt, but I think Steph and Draymond, the way that Dre has been playing this season, he's still such a big factor defensively for that team and the engine, and they overcame a lot. Because you remember, Draymond Green punched his teammate in the preseason. He's Superman punched.
You get what you get with Draymond.
Jordan Poole. And we thought, this was going to be maybe the breakup of this, especially with Andrew Wiggins not playing. Now he's going to be back, and he was MVP caliber type of player for them in the finals last year when they beat the Celtics. Now he's going to be settling into a role, but I think Steph and Draymond, the 5th best duo heading into the playoffs. Then I have Embiid and Harden. Joel Embiid going to be your NBA MVP this season. James Harden, he's really settled in nicely to that facilitator role. We've seen Tyrese Maxey take over kind of as a number 2 scorer. I think that's allowed James Harden to get the most out of his game at this point. The best player in the NBA, but I went with Giannis and Jrue Holiday. Because what they both can do defensively. Jrue Holiday's had some nice scoring games this season. A couple weeks ago, he had like 51 points against the Pacers, especially with Chris Middleton out. And that puts more pressure on Jrue Holiday to step up in the backcourt. Brook Lopez could be the defensive player of the year. He's having a really good year. That's what makes Milwaukee dangerous. But I think Giannis and Holiday, the 3rd best duo. And then number 2, it's Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I think one of the best stories in the NBA has been the development of Jaylen Brown. He's a legitimate scorer. He's as good offensively as Jason Tatum. He is for the Boston Celtics. Both those players. Now, we had this conversation, right, is how do you deal with players when they're kind of similar skill sets? But we see Tatum, he does a good job of being a facilitator, running that offense. And they got some good guard play in Boston. But I think, that tandem of Tatum and Brown is fantastic. We just saw them in the NBA Finals. And number 1 for me, I'm on board. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And KD, I'm not going to play the what-if game with him, but because I think with what we're seeing is they're playing out the season. They played their guys last night. Now, they were in a tough one with the Nuggets bench the entire game. The Nuggets bench, because the Nuggets rested everyone last night. But I think Kevin Durant, when he is at the top of his game, he still can make them the favorites. He has CP3, a lesser role. Devin Booker, a legitimate scorer. I think DeAndre Ayton has been able to kind of settle into who he is on this roster. So those are my top 5 duos heading into the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We don't know with players that they turn on the playoffs. That, but I do have 5 LeBron and AD. I think just both of them, they're just they know how to score, they know how to win, they know how to turn it on. Again, when healthy, But I think, honestly, I think AD. You could kind of sense that they have a chance. This is a better team, so I think it's heading in the right direction for the Lakers. Jokic and Murray again with Denver. We're kind of iffy with Denver right now with what's going on there, but I still you got to have the reigning MVP in that mix. Tatum. I got 3 Tatum and Brown again, like you said. Just Boston's even since the Brad Stevens days, they have done a great job of just kind of whatever they get, they're trying to make it work with their guard play because again the game is kind of going more towards a guard dominated game, so they're doing a good job of adapting to today's game. I really do like Embiid and Harden, just because of course Embiid putting up MVP numbers, and then also like you said, Harden really taking on this role again when he took less money. I think he's really, even Embiid called him out, said he's just not the same player he was, in Houston. And I think, Harden not necessarily took that to heart, but he realizes it, and he realized, what, if he wants to win, he's not about being the scoring champion anymore. He's like, no, I want to win at this point in my career, and they have a good chance to. And then, like you said, KD and Booker at the top. It's just 2 really good scorers. I think Booker has definitely shown and proved that he can score at an elite level. He could come up in the clutch in the fourth quarter, and then also with KD, just a professional scorer, his length, his size. So again, it's very shaky. I only have 2 from the East. I did leave out Giannis and Drew Holiday, but to me, they're more of kind of a balanced team even outside of those 2. So I'm like, I think Milwaukee definitely has a more balanced team. But yeah, those when you talk about duos, I think KD and Booker, that's a lot of scoring right there.
All right, the 2 teams that are under the most pressure. It's not necessarily the favorites, but I'm looking at teams that are almost mirror images of each other, and that is the Denver Nuggets and Philadelphia 76ers. So we know all the talk this year about Joel Embiid versus Nikola Jokic because the Jokic fatigue. He's won 2 straight MVPs.
Yeah,
and the guy's got to win a championship, and that's what they're focused on. But this is conference finals or bust for both these teams. The Nuggets are the number 1 seed. It should be NBA finals or bust for them when you're the number 1 seed in the conference, but people don't have that level of trust in the Denver Nuggets. And both these teams, if they don't win, I could see the first change being at head coach. Because that would happen. I could see Doc Rivers, Michael Malone being moved on. Is that the right thing? At some point in time, if you're the Nuggets, you got to capitalize on this. You got Jamal Murray back. They went through some tough playoff runs where those guys were hurt. But you're going in, Jamal Murray, he's had plenty of time from the ACL injury that he needs to be locked in as your number 2. It's time for Michael Porter Jr. to solidify that 3 spot. The rotation, you got real role players. You got Bruce Brown, you got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who's won a championship before. You brought in a Reggie Jackson. It's time for the Nuggets to capitalize on being the number 1 seed, and it shouldn't be everyone else looking at the Warriors and the Lakers and the Suns. Like the Nuggets need to be in the Western Conference Finals with that opportunity to play in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, and I think obviously that addition with KCP, I remember him with the Lakers. Being a 1-year guy each year, signing 1-year contracts. He's definitely a good utility player. But Coach Malone, he's calling it out like it is. Even if it came from the All-Star game, he was like, he didn't like how they were playing as All-Stars, and even after that Houston game, he's like, we're playing soft. We're not playing hard right now. And again, it's just when you get that 1 seed, it's okay. Are we waiting? Are we resting? Whatever the case is, but either way, each team they're all going to have a week off. But yeah, it does seem like we're talking more Phoenix, Clippers, Lakers. We're talking all these teams like who's hot at the right time, even Sacramento. But like Denver, no, they've been at the top throughout the whole season. Also Milwaukee too, like on the eastern side. So again, we're kind of mostly even talking about Philadelphia trying to get in, but even Charles Barkley said too that he thought Milwaukee and Boston, and it's everybody else. But I don't know, like that.
I think it's 3 teams.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Milwaukee and Boston are slightly ahead of Philadelphia. But I think that group is ahead of everyone else. Like the Cavs, 51-win season. Donovan Mitchell, he's been fantastic. If we're talking about a duo that could easily be talked about, if you want it, honestly, if I was looking at my list, if you wanted to swap Sabonis and Fox for Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, I'm down. Because I think those guys have been fantastic. The one team to watch out for It's a Miami Heat because they're a playoff basketball team.
They're always underrated. I think the Miami Heat and Oklahoma City, ever since, because both of them had like big threes. You know, the Oklahoma, they had KD, Harden, and Westbrook. Miami obviously had Bosh, Wade, and LeBron. I think ever since then, those two teams have really been kind of even kill and just beat in the middle of the pack, and they could surprise people. So I think, yeah, Miami, and then I'm also looking at OKC. It's just so crazy to me that we're not seeing Dallas in this playoff picture right now.
And Dallas a half game back Oklahoma City for the 10th spot. Final 3 days of the NBA regular season. And someone could be dangerous coming out of that play-in tournament because still with the Mavericks, we don't like the way they're constructed, but Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, there's enough there to get hot in an opening round playoff series. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shouldn't be a dark horse. Like, he should be an MVP candidate.
Yeah, he's solid
this season for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah. And you're talking about duos like the Pelicans, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram. Could have talked about them on that list. You had Anthony Edwards and Karl-Anthony Towns, and Edwards has been phenomenal. So the Western Conference, it's going to be a lot of fun because it is that competitive with the talent. And then, yes, the superstars leading away from Steph Curry, Kevin Durant to LeBron James, because the Lakers are going to have a say in this Western Conference race. 505-246-0610. That is the 37-7 Brewery hotline and Sports Animal text line this morning. And when keeping it real goes wrong for a Major League Baseball team on social media, I'll tell you what happened next. It is the opening drive here on the Sports Animal.
Last year, you gave us books, and we gave you beer.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Dream Style Stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Check it out. out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future and get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Still 3-shot lead over Jason Day, Victor Hovland, John Rahm. Day 7 under, 2 under for the day. Hovland, Rahm yet to tee off. Koepka 3 under through 12. Conditions still playable. Time to be on the course. Catching a break. You're able to go out early today. And Koepka, Live Golf on fire. Second round of the Masters. JJ Buck, Amory, Chris Perez, the opening drive here on the Sports Animal. So, Amory, you're our social media manager now.
I am.
For the Sports Animal, putting everything out there on Twitter. We're going to step our game up.
We're stepping our game up. We're making it cool. Follow us if you don't.
At 610KNML. Also, you can hit up at @parttimebro_JJ Buck.
And Chris Perez.
On Twitter.
Our guest co-host.
Of course. find us on the face, snap, chat things. And
Facebook and Twitter. Let's start off slow.
Keep it simple. Facebook and Twitter. And then we'll get to the gram.
Yeah.
Eventually. So you want to tell stories. And teams want to highlight their players. Put moments out there, put clips on social media, but the Cleveland Guardians might have went a little bit too far. So their stud third baseman, Jose Ramirez, they shared a little story about Jose Ramirez. And I'm going to read you the tweet, and you just tell me you like it, you don't like it, is doing a little bit too much. Here we go. From the Cleveland Guardians Twitter account. As a 13-year-old, Jose Ramirez played in a gambling league with adults to earn money for his family. In certain circumstances, bettors would gamble on a player to have a positive outcome. If they didn't come through, they would be chased home by gamblers with machetes and guns.
What?
In tweet.
So when he was 13 years old.
Like, that's a heck of a story. Like, I'm probably going to talk about that on the broadcast.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
Now, they deleted the tweet.
Of course.
Like,
was that just the context?
That was the entire
There
tweet.
was no further link or story or interview. Because that's clickbait. Like, if he was on a podcast, like if he was on a podcast or was being interviewed by somewhere in Cleveland or what have you, I could totally see that, because you read that line and you're like, oh my God, what a crazy story, what a crazy upbringing.
Like, I want to talk about that story on the broadcast, but
now I don't understand the marketing strategy.
Maybe
for
a little bit too much from a Twitter account, which it's usually Skittles and Rainbows on Twitter for team accounts.
Okay. I think they're trying to get more creative and like they just want engagement, which what a post to make engagement. But so the Cleveland, the third baseman didn't post this. The actual Cleveland Guardians.
The team account, Guardians.
That is
They're like
really random.
Fun fact about our superstar third baseman: he used to be chased home by machetes and guns. Like,
see,
first off, congratulations on making.
Oh, he's so relatable.
What I would have done is I would have maybe if you have crazy stories, maybe start a podcast or something.
Like have him tell the story.
And just putting that context out there is crazy. Now I want to know: did they get approval from this guy to put it out there? Like,
so he obviously
is
told
it true.
I don't know their agenda or what they're trying to do.
Wild.
I don't think it's too much at this point, unfortunately, because just social media is crazy and we're very open. We're almost too open and we need to learn boundaries. But that's crazy.
It's a place
it's gonna get everyone talking about the.
I saw that. I was like, what?
The Cleveland Guardians.
Fascinating story.
You
don't expect that from a team Twitter account.
Yeah.
But also Twitter, it's a place to go clap back, let your feelings be known about who sucks and how much they suck and how terrible they are about everything. But Fernando Tatis, remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Star for the San Diego Padres, yes. Working his way back from a steroid suspension.
No, wasn't it ringworm or something?
Well, it was supposed he was taking stuff for said ringworm, which popped him.
Oh yes, that's what it was.
It ended up being the suspension, steroid suspension. He failed PED test. Well, you're right. He's in AAA. playing for El Paso, but he was being roundly booed by Sacramento. So Tatis hit a homer off Cade McClure. Cade McClure, 27 years old, first season at Sacramento AAA affiliate of the San Francisco Giants. He gave up a homer to Fernando Tatis. Going to happen. Tatis is still a good baseball player. But what does he do, Amory?
Oh, he tweets.
He goes to social media.
Goes to the gram.
Retweets the highlight and says, cheater!
Oh, my gosh.
Cheater! Skip the home run, man. Move on.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball dude got you. Did he cheat? Yeah. All right. Got popped for something. Probably wasn't just the ringworm that he got popped for. But clap him back.
I appreciate a good clap back, though. But I think that is fun, and you're clapping back versus just telling a really traumatizing story without any context.
Right now, I want to know,
if you didn't know who the third
what was
baseman
happening?
was, if you could name three players off the Cleveland Guardians, you're going to be able to now.
So the tweet by Cleveland that we got this started with, it was an attempt to summarize a story they were telling on the broadcast. And so I think that's it's a bit of a traumatizing story, but that's worthwhile to talk about on the broadcast.
Yeah.
Like what Jose Ramirez went through, his upbringing, how he made it out, and he's a star player in Major League Baseball. But when you just put it out in a tweet, a little shocking.
Yeah. I mean, they try to summarize it with that 280 characters, but I mean, give us a link. I mean, that's something we would click on.
So listen to Amory. Get your social media game on point. Maybe save those stories for a link to a longer
I'm all
form
about
story.
if you want to share your childhood upbringings or, whatever, whether it's crazy stories, trauma, good stories, whatever it may have you. But just putting out a tweet, that's not good for the Twitter.
Yeah, and it's I think a lot of it was the way that they were talking about it, because that's like a serious story that you should address, because it's the upbringing, coming out of where he was from, the challenges of those players as they try to become international prospects in Major League Baseball.
We usually hear that on like a 30 for 30, or again, a podcast, like something, different. I mean, we are way more open these days, and it's more acceptable, right? To like just put yourself out there in a professional setting. But I think that's someone's getting in trouble over there.
Or social media intern, well,
you're like, oh,
so much
oh
for that
no,
one.
I wasn't supposed to. I scheduled it, but I wasn't supposed to publish it yet.
Oh, when keeping it real goes wrong. 505-246-0610, 377 Brewer Hotline. Sports Animal text line. Is Brooks Koepka going to hold on? Is he going to run away from the field? And why it's important that Tiger hang on and make the weekend. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Science with the CBS Sports.
Too strong. It's going to be a rebound there by Brown. Brown gets it in. Bucket there by Alter.
Crossover for Jackson. Salas steals the rebound and finds a cutting Mitchell at the rim.
Great move.
It's almost even in the foul territory, and the Cueva looking to take advantage. Said Yates draws the foul, and one opportunity is said, gives the muscles down.
And it's 11-4, 38. Another turnover by Rio Grande. Montoya off the glass, up and in, back-to-back layups for the Demons.
Oh, was thrown away again by Valdez. Valdez going to bring it out.
Valdez has to have around 3 or 4 steals. 3 by Mays.
Bingo! That one rattles in for Alyssa Mays, and the All-District Player of the Year has 12.
Penetrates, no foul call. Rodriguez lines one up and knocks down the 3.
first basket of the night.
To back it out.
Look at this deep three.
Wow, that was from NBA range.
What a steal. Stevison 2-on-1, gets up, gets it in.
He doesn't use it. Comes back out to Dominguez, who takes a three. Boom! There's that man, Superman.
Turns, shoots off. Oh,
Wow.
he made that.
Wow. That was crazy. That was a crazy shot.
Has everybody on him. Now he got open.
Open look for a three, and that's what he does. A three for Dennerclaw. His first bucket of the game. And that's a three, and it'll count at the buzzer.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride barbecue chicken and ribs.
Jim, 11 under now for Brooks Koepka, 4 under through 13. It's so early, but man, that score, it's going to look really good if that weather does come in eventually. Oh, they're all talking about. Jason Day, Victor Hovland, John Rahm, all 7 under. Day's played 9. He's 2 under. Hovland, Rahm be teeing off here in a little over an hour. They'll be on the course. And Koepka is going to put up a big score again today. And can anyone run him down if that weather changes? And, of course, eyes on Tiger Woods. He's not winning the Masters. It ain't happening. But can he make his 23rd straight cut in the Masters tournament? That's something to watch for with Tiger Woods. JJ Buckeye Marine, Chris Perez with you, 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Also the email address. You can hit us up every day of the week, 505-246-0610, the 377 Brewery Hotline and Sports Animal text line. And at this point in time, I got to give it some time because we need to see what Hovland and Rahm do, especially John Rahm. I think Sunday, the final pairing, it's going to be Koepka and Rahm dueling it out to win the Masters.
And that's what we want. Liv versus PGA is at the top. Scheffler, I don't know. He's got a, he's kind of, looks like he's struggling a little bit, but
defending champ Scotty Scheffler plus 1 through 6, 3 under par so far.
Yeah. So I know Hovland. I mean, he was playing really good golf yesterday too. So I don't know. I think this is one of the more anticipated Masters that we've seen.
Well, it's good. And it's the enough of the PGA Live storyline. Like it's not this fiery, crazy rivalry between the two, but Koepka's going to let you know that a Live guy just won the Masters. You're going to have that storyline because that final group, it's going to be. I don't think Koepka's fallen off the face of the earth. Like he's in the zone right now. And when we see Koepka do this, that's when he won 4 major championships in 2017 to 2019. So I that's what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Koepka and Rahm final pairing on Sunday going for that green jacket.
Too with Liv as well. I mean, they also have the team aspect with it, and I don't know how I see that playing out too well because it's like we remember Brooks winning, but I'm like, I don't care who else.
You don't know what team he was on.
I don't know who was on his team. Like, so I think with golf, it still is that, hey, like, yeah, it's nice to have a team, but then at the same time, like, if you're carrying the team, like, does that cause any problems there?
Like,
too?
it matters if it's like the President's Cup or something,
Right? Yeah.
USA versus the world. It's
pride
still
for
it's
the
such a
country,
foreign concept to golf. Now it's the way it is collegiately.
Yeah.
When you're coming up, but when we focus on golf, we focus on PGA Tour, the Masters, like the major tournaments.
Yep.
So it is still that individual mindset, but you get a little bit of that this weekend just in terms of the different tours. And I want to see the best players playing on the biggest stage.
Yeah.
And that is a giant question with Live Golf and the PGA Tour, and how the world golf rankings, how are they going to factor in? I want to see Brooke Koepka on this stage. I want to see Dustin Johnson. Like, I want to see these guys get there however they have to qualify or figure it out. I think they will, because as it balances itself out, we just want to see the best players playing at the highest level, regardless of tour. And in an individual sport, there's nothing really to compare it to. And the one I keep going back to is it kind of has that like Champions League feel. What's the Champions League? Well, it's when the best soccer teams around the world play against each other. They're in different leagues, but they're still the highest league that they're in. And it kind of has that feel. Just make sure you get the best in the biggest tournaments, and that's going to be good for golf.
Fair enough.
There you go. So one of the things, too, Chris, is you being a former Lobo, just coming off the NCAA tournament, and, of course, I know Jeff Symbieta, who's back on Monday, he is a San Diego State grad, so he was in it. Like, we were deep in it. I'm interested in you because you battled those Aztec teams.
Yeah.
Like Kawhi Leonard, toe-to-toe. Like, you guys,
Gay,
Malcolm Thomas,
Winston Shepard,
Xavier Thames, like, you name it. Oh, man, Winston Shepard.
Yeah.
Got a fantastic wing player. Like, there were some of the best games we've seen in Lobo basketball over the last 10 to 12 years were those Lobo teams versus those Aztec teams. And you guys won the conference. You beat them in Mountain West tournament games. What was it like for you watching the Aztecs go on that run?
Well, they've always had a great identity in defense and rebounding. Even, when I visited Coach Pitino and the team early in the season and their film room, they talked about how they're in the top of the country in almost every defensive category from last year. And so just watching them, I just like that's just an Aztec team. I mean, from Steve Fisher to Dutcher, like they've always had that identity, and that's the kind of what they sell is like, if you don't want to play defense, then sorry, this isn't the school for you. Hit the transfer portal. But yeah, like what we talked about earlier too is that I think this was a good year for them just because we dealt with a COVID year. We have some 5th years, 6th year seniors all over the nation right now. So I think the one and done schools are kind of having a problem right now because you could be a great 17, 18, 19-year-old, but if you're having to go against a 23, 24, 25-year-old, there's so much more experience. There's so much more strength. I mean, going from high school to college, your body, the way you train, the way, like a lot of high school coaches really don't put a lot of emphasis on strength and conditioning, but when you get to the college realm, that's a big factor. So I think some freshmen come in and it's a little bit tougher for them. But yeah, I think with the Aztecs, what they did for the Mountain West, how they represent, they've always done a great job. Whereas I think they've been the most consistent team, if we could say, from 2010 on. Obviously, we definitely gave them a run. Those were the fun days of I call it kind of the red blood. Us, the San Diego State, and UNLV. Us three were always at the top.
Anthony Bennett come through and be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft.
Right. So I think you could also throw in BYU at the time, and then Colorado State they were kind of up there. But I think consistently, if you looked at the Mountain West back in like the 2010 era, it was those 3 red teams. It was UNLV, San Diego State, and UNM. So I'm hoping we felt that pit get sold out for the first time in a long time against UNLV. So I think this is just, I think Coach Pitino knows, like, you bring good basketball here, not even just, to me, I think the fan base it's not really about the wins and losses, it's about how hard they fight. Do we have an upside as a team?
Belief.
Right. Do we believe we could win every game? That is always my biggest thing is, And I think when we had Alfred here, we had like, especially in the pit. That's why a lot of teams don't want to come to the pit. Duke's not coming here. Arizona, like all these big teams are not coming here because they know if they beat us, it's not going to really help their ranking. But if they lose to us, it could really drop. And also they know the pit coming in, and some coaches will be like, hey, well, we need to play in the pit because we need to get used to that kind of environment. But I think Coach Pitino knows, and he sees that, man, this fan base will get behind you if you're producing, you're giving effort, you have an upside. Oh yeah, these fans will definitely show out. That's what I love about UNM basketball.
I look at that. Either 2010 to 2014, you guys had that run, 3 straight NCAA tournament appearances, and the thing is, just get in. Like it's not easy to get in, but that's if you're in, you don't know what's going to happen because you look at Florida Atlantic, the run they went on. Purdue falling to a 16 seed, Princeton beating Arizona. Like there's not a way to be prepared because that was the question mark before San Diego State went on their run because we saw another first round loss for Boise State, another first round loss for Utah State. Now Nevada was in the play-in portion of it, so they were already on a bubble team. You just got to get in. Like it's not necessarily about, as you said, like the non-conference schedule or playing a certain way. You just got to find your way into the tournament. You guys were able to do that, and you still know how hard it is to win in advance in that setting.
Well, I think the last few teams too. Like I think if we had a chance, we could have surprised some teams. I think rankings just mess with your head. I think with us, we got in as, I think my sophomore year, we got in as a 4 or 5 seed, a 5 seed because I remember we played Long Beach State, and then we got in as a 4 against Harvard. I think it was 4 or 3 around there. Like so, I don't know. Like for us, it's like, man, like it's all about matchups too. Harvard was a tough matchup for us, and obviously you see with Princeton too. Like those Ivy League schools. I mean, they just they have a certain style of play. And then also we played Stanford my senior year.
Stanford team too. They had a ton of NBA guys on that.
Yeah, I mean Josh Powell. You remember him? Like he's doing well in Dallas, but like I think. You just gotta, like you said, you get in, and then it's 0-0. It's a 1-game playoff, and then, like you said, anything could happen. So I can see us as Lobo fans, and it sucks that we can't take the pit with us sometimes. I think we could. That would definitely help.
Chris, man, appreciate you. Thank you.
Of course.
You're gonna be hearing a lot more Chris Perez here on the opening drive.
Yeah.
Hey, Marie, great work.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, and also big thank you to Clint Hurdle, special assistant to the general manager who joined us this morning on the opening drive. We got the Jim Rome Show coming up next. Colin Cowherd, 2 men on, and Isotopes Baseball for you. It's going to be at back on Monday, everybody. Meta World, peace and love. Have a great, safe weekend.
Blake Slaughter.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud